Found some Pez I was cleaning out. And this is like about 6 years old Pez. I'm sure they're still good. Oh, raspberry. Pez is awesome. I feel like the 80s all over again. Hello, how are you? Guys doing good? Wonderful. I decided to put this together. I have spoken about it before, but the problem with my videos is, again, as I've mentioned before, every type of social media I have has darn well near a completely different demographic. The YouTube video is my youngest demographic, which means I should really talk about the issue we're going to talk about today, because it's going to benefit the youth more than it would any other, like my blog is old farts, people my age, 30s and 40s and up. But telling them that they made a mistake 20 years ago, is it going to help them? Preventing you from making a mistake, well, that's going to pay dividends for you guys, right? What I'm going to talk about is MBAs and law school degrees, or law degrees, or law school, right? I'm throwing them into the same category because they are pretty much identical in terms of the economics of the labor market realities of both. So what's happening here is many of you younger people than me, you're going to college. You're about to attend college. If you've read my book, Worthless, you're going to avoid this path. But if you're in college, you're already getting your degree and you're committed to that path, or you've already graduated and now you're like, well, what do I do now? And you think about grad school. What ends up happening regardless, everybody graduates with their bachelor's. There's no jobs because the economy sucks, especially for younger people, because all the old farts didn't do retirement planning right, and they're preventing anybody else from being promoted up the corporate ladder. So you got, Mortimer, hey, I like the 60s. I like that Jim Morrison fella. Now where's my social so crap? I haven't saved enough money. Hey, you young kids have to work like I did. Anyway. So there's really no economic opportunity. There's really no jobs out there for you. So they logically, because I was in the same situation, this is the same thing it was like 20 years ago. Logically they say, well, I got a bachelor's, so I should get a master's. Well, unless you're in a field that really requires a master's, and I can't think of anything except for like becoming a doctor, in which case you go get your doctorate. Most everybody, even engineers, say, well, look, I could get an MBA. Or the liberal arts type say, well, I could go get a law school, a law degree. And everybody thinks that with a law degree and an MBA, that you make a lot of money, that lawyers make a lot of money, and MBAs make a lot of money. Now, that was true 50 years ago, when most people didn't get a bachelor's degree, and that if you were particularly tenacious, or what's the word I'm looking for? Ambitious, you would get your MBA. Right? Yeah, like 50 years ago, I remember looking up the statistics. At one time, like when the MBA first came out, there's only like 50 of them. It's a lot like the CFA. If any of you have said the CFA was huge, I'm like, oh my God, you're gods. And now there's like thousands of them. And it's simple economics. Millions of people have now gotten their MBA. The market is flooded with them. And I remember looking at MBA applications one time, the chart. I'll have to find it. But when this last recession hit, the financial crisis, everybody went and got back to retool for their MBA. Well, again, law of supply. Supply goes up, the value of the price goes down. So, whereas a long time ago, yeah, an MBA meant something. And a long time ago, a law degree, yeah, lawyer, yeah, that meant something. Now you have all you kids flooding the MBA and the law school programs. And now they're generating increased supply, depressing the wages. Now here's what makes matters worse. In the olden days, yeah, it was like Harvard and Princeton and the U of Chicago and Wharton and top-notch schools in Michigan maybe for MBAs and law degrees. Well, now every Tom, Dick, and Harry crap school, well, there's a school like Liberty University, a great website to go look up law school lemmings. All these kids saying, yay, I got accepted. And one kid got accepted to Liberty Law or Liberty University or something like that. I always look up these schools to see what their ranks are. None of these schools are highly ranked. They're all fly-by-night crap law schools. And so unless, and it's the same thing, MBA or law school, unless you're in the very top schools. In law school, it's the top 14, or the tier 1, or the L14 is what they're called. Look it up. If you're not in those schools, you are wasting your money and your time, pretty much. It's not to say that you could go to tier 2 school, you couldn't get picked up, but the chances drop dramatically if you can't get in one of those top tier law. And even the kids in the top tier law schools, even they're having a hard time finding jobs after graduating. And MBAs is the same thing. Unless you're going to Harvard or Princeton or what, and these, keep in mind, these aren't necessarily good schools. I think the U of Chicago, maybe Wharton are the best, like in terms of what you're going to learn. The rest is all, I went to Harvard. And, you learn to kind of, and there's your network. That was your here. You want to see my impersonation of the Harvard MBA again? That was, Princeton's different. Princeton is this. A slightly lower rank because it's left hand, not as good as the right. But those. Anyway, you're not gonna really learn anything. I mean, if you have no business background whatsoever, yeah, you'll learn something. But the real reason you want to attend the top-ranked MBA schools has nothing to do with the abilities and skills you're going to learn. It's the fact that you get to put that big H on your resume, and other people with you. Oh, you went to Harvard. Oh, Winthrop, Thaddeus, McThird. Oh my goodness. Are you a Dagenpool? Why, yes. My father was a Dagenpool too. And that's why you're highly ranked. Anyway, larger point between both law and MBA school, doesn't matter if you. The only thing that matters is if you get into those top-ranked schools. The rest of it, and mark my words, it is a conscious and evil and purposed scam to scam you kids out of money. Because undergrad is one thing, but grad school, wow, that's advanced. We got to charge you even twice, thrice the amount of tuition per credit. Yes, this is grad school. This is serious now. You want to play with the big boys. I remember this is over a decade ago, almost a decade ago. Yeah, almost a decade ago. Our controller, that's like the main accountant in the bank I was working at, nice lady too, she asked me, because she was like, she had her degree in accounting and she was thinking about getting her MBA so she could get ahead. And the school, the primary school that we have in Minnesota is the Carlson School of Management, which none of you have heard of because none of you are in here. Once you come over to Minnesota, they're like, Carlson School, oh my God, what's Harvard? You never heard of that? Carlson School. And you know who hires from the Carlson School? Nobody. That's, I'll tell you this is a quick little side story. You like the side stories? The Carlson School, which I attended, is right across from downtown Minneapolis, from the interstate. There's Highway 35. That's where the bridge collapsed, if you remember, a couple of years ago. The Carlson School's right here. There's the highway. And then there's downtown Minneapolis. And the people who are in the downtown buildings can see the Carlson School. It's right there. So you think, let's go recruit 3 blocks that way and get ourselves some really talented people. Well, I accessed Princeton's job board. Person gave me the passcode to it, and I found all these Minneapolis companies that were hiring and recruiting for Princeton, but not the U of M, because the U of M sucks. No one wants to hire for the U of M. Oh shoot, where was I going with this? Oh crap, we're talking about the MBA, the Carlson. You come over from Minnesota, and everyone. This is the gal. So she says she wants to go to the Carlson School. She didn't. She was really hesitant to go. I said, well, what's holding you back? Why don't you just get your MBA or your CPA? MBA at Carlson, $75,000, and it's a shit school. I mean, it's shit. And that's the scam you kids have got to look out for. Realize what has happened before us, and this includes my generation, but the baby boomers and Gen X, basically, we did whatever our heart told us and the money would follow. Well, most of us went to the unemployment line or sludged through some mind-destroying career. But many of our generation went on to get their masters and their PhDs. Why? Because they had a lot of parents' money and nothing else to do and couldn't be employed anywhere else. So they all became teachers. Now, they can't go work a real job. They have to make that degree pay off. So where do you think they went? Academia. And boys and girls, you think the housing bubble was something. You think the dot-com bubble was something. This education bubble is bigger. It's beyond the trillion that we pissed away on the housing market. You guys are like, I think, a $1.2 trillion student loan market. And $1 trillion a year, this includes K through 12, is already spent on the education industry. But it is a scam. These people want your money, and the hell if they're not going to get it. And that's why, despite not being able to provide you effective employment, despite not being worth the money you drop out tuition, they will still offer these programs, and they will charge you an arm and a leg. I mean, I taught on a non-graduate school level. The two schools I taught at, that's what they specialized in. And I was dumb and young and naive until I figured out what was going on. These are these fly-by-night schools. You're like, hey, does your life suck? You know, daytime TV, you're sitting there watching cartoons because you're too drunk or hungover to get up. And after Oprah on comes, you know, you're like, well, maybe I could tolerate the Rockford Files. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, we could watch Hawaii Five-O, the old version. Then Hogan's Heroes come on, then you're excited about that. But regardless, you're working off your hangover, and those commercials come on, and it's got those really bad graphics like, hey, does your life suck? Did you get a woman pregnant before the age of 19? Well, come to the XYZ school of go fuck yourself. Become medical transcription. No, it's always an exciting career in the field of medical transcriptioning, travel and hospitality. And then there's some guy with a smile. Oh, and culinary schools. Look out for culinary schools. Those are all bogus. Those are all bullshit. Anyway, it's like that. So think that level of scum and seediness and charlatanism, if that's even a word, and apply it to accredited institutions like the university, like all the non-top schools. Apply it to the rest, and that's exactly what you're dealing with. Except they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. So you're getting scammed on one end. Spending, gosh, some people are graduating with $200,000 in debt after law school. And your employment prospects are no different than when you graduated with an undergrad. No different. All you do, as if graduating with an undergrad with a worthless degree, or a degree in debt, just forget whether it's worthless, with a ton of debt and having no job. The only thing worse is wasting an additional 2 to 3 years of your life. Mind-numbingly boring bullshit, I might add, if you ever take business classes or law classes. Hell, law, you might actually learn something. I don't know. Business is just common sense stretched out over a 2-year period. I forgot what it was. I keep tangenting. If you think that's bad, wait till you destroy another 2 to 3 years of your youth and then triple the amount of student debt you have and then still can't find a job. You destroy your life. I'm not saying like you're going to destroy the next 5 or 10 years. I'm not saying you're going to destroy the next 10 or 15. I'm saying you have taken a nuclear bomb and destroyed the rest of your life. That is going to be with you until you're dead. And it's going to have an effect on your social life. You can't go out with your friends as much. You can't go and explore. You can't travel. You can't enjoy life. You can't, your love life is going to suffer because I'm serious, ladies, no guy wants to marry a girl with $150,000 in debt and a worthless degree. And guys, no girl wants to marry a guy with $150,000 in debt and worthless degrees. Right? So again, unless you're accepted into those top schools, you do not want to go to law school and you do not want to get your MBA. It is, and the other thing is, when you go into those fields, you're saying, I want to work for assholes. I want to work for the scum of the earth. I want to work for lawyers and the bankers that have totally fucked up the nation and the country. That's pretty much the type of people. And ask lawyers. I think it's like 80% of them, if they were to do it all over again, wouldn't become lawyers. They hate their jobs. And MBAs, I don't know. I'm just going based on all the MBAs I've met and what a bunch of douches they are. So, in any case, I sincerely hope I've at least made you think about it. But I really sincerely hope I've changed your mind and that you find something else like the trades. Or, you know what, just go become a ski bum or go join the military or something that's going to challenge you more and be more interesting and more fun. Oh, then buy my book, Worth. If you don't believe me, if this isn't enough for you, get the book Worthless. It's on Amazon. It's in Kindle, paperback, and audio book. So you don't have to read, because I don't like to read. I just love plugging it in and, and then you get, oh, I'm brilliant because I listened to something while sleeping. So that's all we got. Hopefully that helped. Spread the word. Thank you very much. A lot of people, I don't like you. Can we do it? You could donate. That's fine. But truly, just spread the word. Just forward this or put it up on the Facebook thing, because that actually does more, and then you don't have to spend your time and all that other stuff. So, all right, toodles.